beloveds. Hello and welcome. I'm going to start with a bold opening. I have in my hands, I have my sacred companion, the Master Lay Line Grid Worker from Antares, and let's dive in. So, people often slip into believing that they're half or something. Half of a soul, half of an experience, half of a whole. And don't get me wrong, from the perspective of survival and the laws of Earth, that belief actually once served us. In this dense realm, in this grand paradox of polarity, of limitation, the illusion, and incompleteness, actually helped us navigate and survive. But the soul was never half. It always have been whole, right? The soul travels through dimensions, levels of consciousness, physical and non-physical realities, like this Earth experiment, as its complete itself. What I mean by that, fragmentation can occur. The more of the trauma, the more of disembodying. Yes, all is here. Please, I am a traveler from the teachings of the old Pisces ages, where everything was up outside of us, and interremembering of going down only to the mother, and now holding the space of the middle path of the inward spiral. So everything that it comes actually is a channel, not channel, but lived wisdom that it's transmitting through my being. And to return into that fragmentation through our souls, who travels through many levels of consciousness, physical, non-physical realities, and all of that, right? It's not just fragmentation, it's also expansion that happens on the other side of this magnetic electric dance. Awareness always stretches. And through that expansion, we gain ability to return to the fullness of who we always have been. Earth is a master teacher. Oh my gosh, right? She is the great womb that loves us unconditionally, every one of us. She provides the contracts, the challenges, the beauty, the fear, everything through the remembering, so we can, all of us, return to our original wholeness, whole self, whole soul self. Remember that word, please. It's going to be important for you to get this word, whole soul self, as many times as you can, and be conscious about how many times I'm going to say it also. And when the remembering comes, when we finally pause, land in the human body, which I know, it's a lot. When we take a breath and smile, and yes, smile, because we know that that is simulation, but it's also in the same time so profoundly real that we have to respect the laws of Earth as we dance within them. We have to honor the womb, the matrix, the mother, the container that allows your soul to go through this evolutionary journey in very much materialized dance form as our avatars are. But we also came here to expand, to birth new consciousness, to develop new gene, to open up into, from the mutation of the gene into something more clear. Sit with that for a second and how this lands with you. The Antares are speaking. We're just before the new moon. So here we go. Hi, my name is Spela. I'm co-creator with Live and Human. In this human costume I wear, right? Holding the space also for the souls inside of the Soul Creation Temple space. And today I invite you into the energies of this new moon, the Scorpion new moon, the orchestration of all of the planets, as all the time, asteroids, and the deeper currents of creation. It is also my first video that I'm doing in English, so I hope the pronunciation wouldn't be too much distracting for you, because I'm from Slovenia. We do kind of have the tendency to speak very German kind of English, so very hard. So let's just dive in, okay? It is going to be the 3-part journey, very deep insights, activation, intentionally storytelling, because storytelling is my highest frequency. So buckle up, beloveds. We're entering the realms of death, depth, and rebirth of your full soul self. Okay, and what does it mean? That it means to really remember that you are always full on whole soul self. It's remembering, returning of the awareness that you were always your soul mate, your soulful self. I know the new age communities would not like that. I know it's so nice to be lit, open up into the yearning of love as condition, love as something materialized, but love actually is everything. Love speaks through me, through depths, through cutting of the shit, cutting of the cords, cutting of the just all the BS, right? Because I do hold the rainbow spectrum in me. Speaking anatomically, I do have traits of autism, which means that I can see through what people normally don't see. I hear, sense, and feel so crazy a lot that it's just a lot, right? And in the same time, I am the high priestess of this realm who always walks between the realms. And what I'm bringing through in this next series, it's all about just the priestess work. It's just the highest attunement of the divine feminine in her new role. And you're the one who's choosing the role, okay? And yes, we have guardians, we have teams, we have angelic realms, the animal kingdoms, the plant kingdoms, all of the kingdoms are speaking through this whole soul self, as also the self who is still walking the walk of fragmentation, the one who is completely attuned, in tune, in peace with the soma, soul self, the nervous system, the one who is needing a lot of free time space, who is everything, right? Everything. And the masking is something that I do not consent anymore. So yes, I'm not everyone's piece of cake, never was. I am not sugarcoating anything. I just cannot have my mouth closed anymore after 36 years of masking and many burnouts, autistic burnouts. I just cannot be quiet anymore. It is what I am. The mother wants me to present like this in this lifetime. So, like I said, buckle up. We are entering the realms of depths, death, and rebirth of the soul self. And Antares helped me personally so much. We all know that Pleiadians are the latest ETs working with our consciousness and human population and seeding and da. And there were Arcturians, and then we go further more back, right? And for the Rainbow Bridge to really be open, Antares and Arcturians are playing a vital role to come to the Aurora consciousness, to the rainbow spectrum, the serpentine inside of you, these rainbow gates to open and all la. But this is not today to speak about this. Some say disembodied, some say galactic speakings, whatever, it's your jam. Today, I really want to invite you into this remembering your own soul self, your own soul self. Okay. So what is happening right now is that everything I'm speaking right now here is transmission, right? it's all about the spiral inward. Okay, the rebirth inside a birth, death before the death, and this next wave of feminine templating, somatic awakening, and soul level reclamation. It is kind of the final countdown, how much you can really stabilize your field before the world is going to go even more bananas, and the structures of imaginary safety will crumble through the systems and all of it. We are in the period of time 25, 26, 27, when Earth is going through major realignment. The greed, all of the stuff of the ego self, of the first two chakras are collapsing. Okay. And it's so, I know, fucking hard when you're so attached to everything. So I'm inviting you actually to your attunement. Because the most important thing and the medicine that I can offer you in this transmission is you will be forced to check into your shadow self, because Earth, universe, multiverse wants you to be transparent through fluidity, through serenity, through transparency, and all of it. Okay. So the more you resist what you have to go in, what you came here to do, the more you will suffer. And there are three main conditionings, three belief systems that are blocking human consciousness to come fully into awareness or to integrate embody. Is the belief system of lack, is the belief system of dependency, and the fear. And as we know, below as above, so below, and as inside, so outside. And if your crown is blocked because the fuck so many belief systems you're still holding from the old earth templating and ancestral parental conditioning and all of it, right? The last foundations of stability, of the true stability that your whole soul self wants, will be able to anchor. And I'm hoping you can follow up the traits of my thoughts. Otherwise, just listen a few times, okay? Because the medicine is here, okay? It is like you have to go inward to find your own medicine, your whole soul self, the Sophianic Christed wisdom, if we go into the concepts, right? To be a parent to your inner child, to become the conscious creator through the soul, through the heart, through the divine child, as playfulness, as innocence, returning back into your body. And I know through the wounded feminine spectrum, sometimes we talk about a lot of these embodying thoughts, right? Because we're talking through mystical teachings. Some of us, we are just so used to use words that people don't understand, because we used to hide in the woods or travel around the world from the witch wounds and being a mystic or being a priest or whatever. And we have to, in the ages of patriarch, really like be away, but we are not there anymore. And I want to be clear, I do use mystical teachings, magi templating, as expressing the self, because that's my soul self, how loves to play out with the words, with the consciousness, with the star, with the soul, with awareness and the higher mind dancing in my body. But I will try to convey so you can also understand more embodied way, so you can feel it in the body. And there is also this silence, this stillness that comes when you kind of open up all these rainbow gates of the consciousness. And there is this moment of full-on presence. Some call it zero point, some call it whatever. But you know it when you're actually not getting there from the mind, but when your body finally gets to the point where it's safe enough, present enough, contained enough with your own soul self, to exhale into the pause and deep listening of the body. Because the whole architecture through the soma is here. And the clearing of the fields, of the belief systems, of conditioning in the heart, of lower attachments and survival mechanisms are something that are so needed right now. Okay. And it's hard to do that alone. It's really hard to do because you go into the spiral of the dark matter or into the spiral of disembodying, been there, done that, all of it, right? I am a person who talks from purely experimental, embodied wisdom, because as part of the autistic soul self and ADHD templating that I'm holding, when I know how it is to be disembodied from the trauma, traumatize yourself even more through escaping the trauma, and then come back into the whole circle that is now available as the consciousness level here on earth into just body presence. It is when the current of your inner energetic shifts from the patriarchal bites and structured teachings and implants and all of it, whatever in the mysticisms and spirituality we're calling it, it comes into deep innate inner wisdom, the Sophianic Christ embodied avatar templating through your whole soul self. And it's where the magic really happens. Not the magic that we're creating through manifestations, although you can do manifestations, but the true current shifts when you come out of manifestations, out of all of the techniques, and just into the alignment. It's where you become the magnetic field. There will be thousands of ways that you will have to protect your energy from the place of, look, I've been there, done that. I don't need to play out this anymore. And look, I understand your struggle still, but this is not my reality anymore. And remember that in containers, it's easier if you have someone who is holding high vibe containers where the lurking of energy, codependency, dependency, survival tactics of the lower soul self isn't, not that it's not allowed, but it's highly observed, like it is in my containers because of the autistic gifts that I have. I am super laser focused on everything, and my focus is just not being in the loops, because these loops are just bananas, right? And we don't need to be there. And today my intention, attention, and time is focused towards presenting you something that's been birthing through me for quite a long of time. I knew that this winter is going to be also for me crucial, because the next steps that I'm then creating are, I don't want to say huge because that's also concept and it's pressure for me. And I still like to not take so much responsibility. I'm joking. I am the one who took on too much responsibility always, just not responsibilities for myself, for everyone else. And that was my biggest wound. Walked with it. So my first responsibility is me in this moment. So service to the neutral. Okay, we have service to self, service to others, and service to neutral. I have walked and remember all of the cycle. For me, it's really important as the autistic person. Not that I claim the label. I am just using it as awareness, because we are highly sensitive souls who are returning the balance on the earth. And right now we are mostly still struggling, because not the earth is not a beautiful condition for that level of consciousness, but it is the human consciousness that needs to evolve, so everyone can be the sensitive one as we used to be. before we forgot what it really means to be love in general. But not to get too much side-slided, okay? I want to speak today from the place of sovereignty, groundedness, and crystalline clarity. And also the current that I'm trying to convey, it is a physical shift that happens in you from the patriarchal current of control, control, grabbing, lush, all of the patriarchal ways of existing in the last 24,000 years. When you come into that current shift into the feminine, which is the surrender, the magnetism, the creating from the fullness, the beingness, you do get into the crisis. I know that I struggle so much, just like overriding myself. Every time I came to this current, and still, right? I'm like, is this really happening? Is this really possible? Can I really live from that place? And how can I live from that current if no one around me is living in that current? So to return to the safe containers, I also don't just work with everybody, because if you're willing to go in, if you're willing to hold the space for yourself, if you know that it's between you and God, and if you know that everyone deserves a safe space, and if you can be that for yourself and can be that for also the group that you're landing in, and it's so beautiful to have you, to invite you. And if not, we have other things that we can help you with, so you can become first a little bit more stable and then go into all this exploration, because stability, spirituality was a bypass from huge disembodying and trauma work and feminine wound creation, the trauma bonding. So my intention, again, through Antares, through the sacred scorpion, heart of the scorpion, phoenix, eagle teachings, please, let's remember that shifting the current inside of you happens when you're also deciding fully to not go back into the loose, into the old stories, into awareness that you have to be responsible to say no before you say yes to everything that is, again, in the beginning, when you're still learning to live from that point, disturbing your peace. And love doesn't mean saying yes. Love doesn't mean not having boundaries. Love doesn't mean people shitting on you, projecting on you, and all of it. It does not mean that. And I am the one who's also saying a lot of time no to people, because I just don't have capacity anymore for going into the downward spirals. I've paid my dues, I did my karmic work, and now I want to bring medicine from that space. And the Amethyst Mama Bear Womb Cave templating, the 3 months container before we're really shifting into the astrological madness kind of energetics, archetypal dance on the earth. I really want to invite you in this container, and I will speak about it very soon. You will also have everything linked down below. You have to be also aware that I don't like this old way of promoting how to do the courses, how to promote the Instagram stuff and all of it. I don't, because for the sensitive soul, this is not organic streams. And the sovereignty for me is the most important. Sovereignty for me means, where do I have plugins for the systems that I do not consent as the resonance frequency of highest alignment in my body? And we do have plugs from left side, right side, right? We can call that J seals, Draco seals, whatever seals. We are unconsciously plugged into the matrix stuff. And please tap in where you personally are standing now, and pray to God. God is the consciousness field. There's not just one person. It's the consciousness field that is currently the most important to speak through you, with you and your soul, and allow back of the body Because what I'm conveying here are the backside teachings, which means receiving from God, not oversourcing, outsourcing, taking from people, because we have limiting capacity. We are beings of finite structured living. Yes, some of us remember how to work with immortality codes and cells and free energy and all of it, but we are not there yet. Okay, and you can see how much you're leaning forward when you're listening, when you're trying to get something, to see something, to listen. It's between you and God, and it's between your higher self, who has the course tapping entrance behind of your back, where is your heart, spiritual heart chakra, if you want to call it like this. I don't know. I'm having fun with with concepts and what we are using right now on Earth. And yes, I'm using tuning forks because of a lot of energy is going through my body, because I am conveying wisdom that still sometimes find the blockages in the body because of how much safe my body feels in conveying wisdom, that it's not mainstream wisdom teachings and perception of it. I know it's a path, I'm learning it, and I just want to invite you to take a breath with me. I am just having fun with tuning fork today. I'm using 288 Hertz D because this one really helps me to flow my energy from the sacral to the throat and the whole circle of my Shakti. And yeah, just to go back, today I really want to speak about from the deepest truth inside of me, like you can see, right? Not just from the mind, not just from performance, not from the spiritual glamour, oh, gosh, please no, but from the body, from the soma, and from the living pulse of the feminine breath that is inside of me, speaking within me, for me, and then conveying for those of you attuning into that field. The descent into the death to birth. It's also a lot connected with my Venus in 7th house, Scorpio in the moon. I do hold the depths, right? So if you're kind of not a king for the depths and death and rebirth and the spirals inward and feminine flow, that just will not be video for you. And if you are, don't remember we are going so inwards like never before till the end of the February. So I really just want to, oh my God, I'm so looking forward. But to actually give you some material to work with. It's like, if you're here, it's because something is ready, or at least deeply curious to enter the cycle of your own death, and rebirth of the soul fullness, whole soul self. I like to play the games with that words, right? Every time I get a new inspiration, but to move out of the wounded feminine, the collapsed feminine, the overextended feminine, and I'm doing this, I don't know how they call it in English because it's a concept, but it is how we express right now things, okay? And to move into the sovereign feminine, the feminine that leads from the nervous system, who holds the embodied truth with the God, source, creator as one, and open the wings of innocence and convey her fullness of expression, not through the, I don't know how to say old words, not through manipulations, through seduction or any kind of these things, right? But just of, look, this is my truth. This is what I'm moving through right now. This is what I can offer. This is where I am. Are we going to play together? No? Okay, whatever. Okay? It is what I'm bringing forward here. It's not about manifestation tricks or bypassing. It is what actually naturally unfolds when our inner architecture shifts, right? Our polarities, dualities, nervous system, our awareness itself. when the inner world shifts, the outer worlds follow. Okay, and why these three series are actually been created from my heart. Today, the one that you're listening today, and two more. I created these because to bring awareness to the refinement of our inner polarities and the crucial role of the feminine healing in this movement of human evolution. I, through Paris, Slovenia, Morea, Bali, Sri Lanka, through deep well initiations, inner divings of the crystalline grids, and simulations that I consciously create through death before death, through the Sufi chambers and 5 Sufi chamber teachings that I wanted to experience. I personally was stripped to the bone this year. I've been stripped to the bone 12 years ago when I have my near-death experience, the unconscious one in Brazil. Already choosing my next lifetime. But I've met myself like never before and started to rebuild from the inside out. I was a master bypasser, and that's why, because I do have access to every possible level of consciousness that I want to tap in. I can tune in, and the quantum fields are so yummy, so fun, so amazing. Yet I decided to be here, and by that I mean I also decided in this next period of celebration of life on Earth, I have to be very transparent. What I speak is not a theory. It is a lived, it is embodied, it is cellular, it's still evolving, it always will be evolving. Till the day that I die. That's the song that came right now in my mind from Billy Idol or what it is. Oh my god, mainstream stuff, I know them. Birds of the feathers, we should stick together, right? The same people saying and come together, and I really wish in that moment that we just don't come just together to play the same karma, trauma, wound anymore. It's like in spirituality we use this ray and that ray, but on the end, if you look from the bliss body, from highest awareness, it's just the same attracts the same, right? My wounding is coming together with your wounding. We're in this karmic juice, so we can maybe come to the awareness to purify, cleanse, clear, determinize, alchemize, embody the whole soul self, the new templating, and not needing to play out these anymore. So it's so important to consciously decide when you're done also with something. And I'm done with major karmic, also by my own stuff and going on through my own what is astrology, and really coming from karmic to dharmic service, right? And from that place, the Amethyst Mama Bear Womb Cave Sanctuary was born. We are opening the gates on 13th of December with the massive, beautiful celebration of Santa Lucia, I call it. Lucia, it means the light, right? Lucia in Italian. Italians do hold the medicine of the Sophianic teachings. If we go deep into the conspiracy theory, it is beloved of the place started on V. And all the church stuff things. And before that, we're gonna have a last tuning in where you can join for free. I think it's on 2nd of December, where I'm gonna just have 80 minutes space. We are going to tap into the energetics and physical body through the silence, and going into the practice, the first practice, because in this container we also give a lot of intention, attention, and time to the practices. But these practices are spiral movements, hip opening, Tai Chi, Qigong, everything yin restorative, but also very focusing. So we go with the feminine flow, softness, awareness, spiral, attunement into the stillness. We're not using that as a practice to straighten the muscle, yes, the inner muscle, but it's going to be different, okay? So if you want to check out the field, if you want to feel how it feels to be in a container like this, if you want to go through one practice, that it's every time different, because I just tap into the group field and I tap into the what wants to be transmitted through me, and I create from the moment. I'm not so good with wording as I am good with being in the moment, creating from the moment. I have to be clear, I do create from chaos, and then I am refining till we don't come into the closed circle again, closed group, where the magic happens when everything just opens. And we go into the highest potentiality, North Star alignment, crystalline consciousness, and deep firm stability. Okay. And through my own exploration of the self, I also went into through creation of this mama bear container, the womb healing, which goes into your ego self. Okay, it goes to the first, second chakra, third chakra. It is about the belly work. It is about the belly of the mother. It is about going there where you don't want to go. It is about going out of the old structures, the old patriarchal contemplation of safetyness, of attachments, of dependency, of fear-based, to freaking open your voice and mind and that. And Santa Lucia is a beautiful presentation through the Aurora Guardian team, awareness rainbow spectrum, your inner innate inner channel, where we're going to talk about the DNA, new human species, birthing consciousness, about not just talking about it, but how it plays out in your DNA, what DNA is currently playing the most expressed role in your own conscious evolution, how to bring consciousness through the seven candles, to light up the candles of your higher awareness, so we can bring a light into the heart and into the womb, to then deal with things that has to be dealt into the womb space. These are also the Grail teachings. There are the heart teachings, there are the Sufi teachings, whatever old school teachings with the New Age teachings coming into the middle path of exploration of inner innate possibilities for your innate whole soul self. Okay. And I wanted to put myself into, because I'm not a keen of this yada talking and then going into how we can promote that. I just like to create, okay? And part of the creation is also the presentation. I know, because for me it's so important, the purity, that I don't go into manipulation field. I just have some resistance, right? I'm a human too. I'll experience myself as a human here. So I decided to go into the observation of my feminine cycles, like self-observation, how basically through this entire process of birth, like going into the process of my whole year, deciding to birth death through having a need to contemplate before birthing fully, and then promoting it before we go into the container where I will close the door for the 3 months. I also will not be doing any sessions or anything else, because I really want to go inward, because I know what I'm moving and what the collective is moving into the next year. And I really want a full-on stability for the self, the whole soul self. So this entire process, I've been experimenting with my different cycles. So how do I present this container, Amethyst Mama Womb Bear container, through the first cycle, hormonal cycles, the second cycle, the luteal phase, the premenstrual phase? I wanted to see and then observe myself, right, as my own mirror. Because once you're in the self-awareness, higher mind territory, you don't need the triggers anymore so often from outside of you. You don't need to be mirrored by twin flames matrix stuff anymore. You can observe yourself, and the awareness loves to be experienced, right? I'm loving experience myself when I go down to the judgmentals, when I don't go in the shame, when I don't go into lower territory of not good enough and yada yada yada. I just love to experience myself and see how through different cycles, through different ways, I'm presenting something dear to my heart that I have no clue how deep it's going to go, but I know it's going to go very deep, and how much fun I can have in all of that. Okay, so if you're very much in control still, I'm gonna freak the shit out of you. Okay, not I as yeah, also me as a empath that I am, right? I have yoga teachers who are my friends who are like, gosh, Bella, your priestess work is amazing, but I was freaking out. No structure, no anything. No, there is a structure, but it's a different kind. It is from chaos to refinement and presentation into the moment. And it's not for everybody, and it's completely okay. Nothing is better, nothing is worse. Everything is just what suits you, resonates you the most. Sometimes you really need to pour a wine of truth to yourself so you can really know if what you're landing in is your soul calling. And if you don't, just have a prayer to God. Remember to pray and ask, is this my ego who is afraid of the change, or is it really not resonating? Okay, take a 3 days, land in, ask yourself. My personal the way how I use my boundaries is when I'm not sure of something, I have the 3 days rule. I'm not available in that time for any kind of simulations from the outside. I go in and I deal with myself through praying, first of the praying, lifting up the consciousness, which we're going to do through Santa Lucia, and then bringing into the core wounds of the fear belief system, of the dependency, and of the belief system of the lack, and about the elemental structures that are part of these 3 levels of house, identity, ego, and Bali journey, and elemental consciousness. I will be talking in the 2nd or the 3rd video. But today, to sum up and to finish, it was really nice, and it's still nice to see and observe how my feminine is flowing in these sessions each week. Okay, how my psyche, my expression, my clarity, my embodiment is expressing itself, right? To know thyself. It is the grand experiment. When you take sovereignty from everyone else experimenting with you, and you decide to experiment with yourself through love, through honor, through stability, so you know thyself, you gain your sovereignty. Okay, the cocky side of me will be like, duh, dude. But that's the cocky side of me. So each of these videos carries a different hormonal and emotional, follicular clarity, evolutionary radiance, luteal death, and menstrual stillness. Because that is the feminine teaching. And if we're talking about the womb, we have to know the elementals, the gates, the portal, and the cycles, right? And we have to know the lunar, the solar consciousness currents inside of us and how they work through our psyche, how they show up with others, with the self, and to just be aware of all of it. So it really is the part of where masking is melting away, where how should I say that? Where numbing shields are dissolving, will be dissolving, and are dissolving through conscious decisions to dissolve. as appropriate, because there's so much brothers and sisters in the field working, yet having the talking to my own experience, having the most shields around us because we're so sensitive, we're so fine attuned, fine aligned, and having the people around is a lot for us. Having civilization that it's a wounded walking stick of projections, it's a lot. And my intention, attention, and devotion to this container is going through the unmasking, through the feminine psyche, through the cycles, through the solar feminine consciousness of Golden Gate of Lemuria, Atlantean, and New Age templating that we are birthing as the new feminine, through the High Priestess templating, which is for me the rainbow bridge of everything, right? I really will hold the space, and the soul creation is already energetically in the ether, holding the space for the brave souls who are willing to give away the coping mechanisms, sex, drugs, rock and roll. I'm joking, but the truth is alcohol, cigarettes, cacao escaping, spirituality escaping, sex, relationship, money, games, whatever, scrolling, you name it. It is overlay and overlay and overlay, overlay and overlay. And I've been walking the path of not numbing myself. My numbing is still sometimes when I'm dysregulated because of too much streams, food. It is the only thing that actually in the moment really brings me in, and I'm sitting with that. I'm dealing with that through the inner child. I'm speaking with this part of the self, but from everything, from the drugs, from the sex, from the rock and roll and everything, I have not touched everything for a long time, because I really wanted to know who am I with the God. Because for me, the most important will be the pillar, horizontal, vertical, between me and God, between me and mother and father. Okay. And it is, I gave up relationship for a long time. I gave up everything to really get to know who I am. And nothing that I was presenting myself a few years ago, it's what is birthing right now. And I wish nothing more for you. For all of the delicate flowers, for all of the dragon riders, for all of the fine attuned ones, or just deep discovered ones, whatever you want to frame it, okay? Whatever it's your gem right now. This is the space that I'm offering for the next 3 months. So to fine attune before things go bananas, okay? And when I say bananas, I just mean it can be intense. It will be intense and will be chaotic, and it doesn't need to be. Okay. So if you're still listening, and if you're still masking, but you didn't get triggered and just stop, and you're longing to drop in and away from the freaking masking and coping mechanisms, and be in the space that will hold you. Yeah, well, then these containers that you have everything down, please be aware of different phases of not tuning into me what phase I am. Just be aware how the feminine psyche flows through different presentations. You have videos, you have written words, you have colors, you have these videos, and just flow with it, okay? And allow to really see if that's something you want to live. Because people, when they come to me, they say, I come to you because you allow the space to be the whole soul self. And I'm like, yeah, well, I want nothing more for myself. How should I not offer that to you, right? And I do not judge, but I do have a strong opinion on bullshit. And we bring that bullshit of all of us into the heart, into the love, and with the God, and into the whole soul self, okay? And with that being said, it is between you and God. I'm not your savior. I'm not your authority. I'm not your conduit. Well, I am a conduit for Mother, Father, God, and I'm conduit in these sacred spaces where I do hold the space, yeah? But I am here to remember you, how you return into your own magician, into your own highest priestess, into your own madman as a higher mind, experimental, creating the light, wisdom teachings. I have 4 people right now: Einstein, Rudolf, and a few other brothers who did a huge work. So that's why I'm joking, because it was all like, I'm trying to collecting the words because I just tap into that field, and it's a madman, a beautiful mathematical, astrological, poetical, higher mind magicians, alchemists field that I with nothing that you also can tap in, tune in, and live from that space. So I will be holding you in the highest possibilities for life to express through you, for you, in your full sovereignty. And by that, that means that also my full-on devotion is closing the door for the 3 months for everything else. I will be doing my last grid work here in Croatia. I've been working with the Atlantean grids of Mediterranean Sea and Inner Earth templating of the Atlantean consciousness for, I think, probably 4 or 5 years, especially through Kirk and the dolphins whale matrix as part of the civilizations who walked on Earth, right, before going back to oceans. And I do work with the medicines of the consciousness of the flowers, the stones, the tree people, the stone people, the elementals, all of it. And in the same time with the galactic family, but also with the body. And how can we really tune into the body when everything is too loud? There's so many predictions and channeling with Atlas, with the lemon, with the swan. Yes, the swan holds the mutations of the babies that are still they're coming in now to work with the earth. The Atlas is holding the consciousness stream that is going to bless everyone. The lemon is another level of beautiful support that is coming in. And nothing is outside of you. It is stimulation support from the family of light for the earth to freaking awaken the human consciousness, okay? And for the next 3 months, I am closing the doors to the outside world and devoting myself fully to those inside of the sanctuary. I want silence, I want presence, I want deep nervous system, programming, replenishment, rejuvenation, yummy, sensual, juicy, flowy, breath through me in constant flow, not just 1 week and then nada. That doesn't mean nothing sexual, because there's a huge difference between sexuality and sensuality. Sexuality, it is distortion from the lower 3 fields when we work through the patriarchal of getting something to manipulate, to da-da-da. We know what I mean. When it's between you and God, is sensuality, is your own current, is your own Shakti, is your own flow, it's your own medicine. And I do talk from the consciousness of the Nagas, of the dragons, of the dragon consciousness, mother tones. And in this space, it is what is conveying, right? I will be fully devoting for that. Also, I will not be using Facebook or Instagram or anything where I can get plugged in, because of awareness that can be destructive. We did create, Sarah did amazing work. She is my priestess, soul priestess student, who is working behind the scenes, supporting everything that has to be done through pages, so you can actually see it through online stuff. She is the one who is creating the community place where I will be the only where I will be present, because we are getting into the most beautiful creation through the heart wisdom teachings and Sophianic Slovenian planting. Anyway, that's for another time. But we are entering the global and personal mutation cycle until 2027. It will be chaotic, it will be wild, it will be beautiful, and you did not here to stay on the sidelines, and you came here to evolve. Okay, period. A daily mantra that guides me, it's I make no decisions alone today. I make all decisions with God. That is the part of the, I think, the Course of Miracles stuff that I channeled through the Dakini consciousness. And it is the frequency I want to invite you in. Okay. So the final free attunement, before the sanctuary opens on 13th of December at 5 p.m., they, like I said, will be one final free attunement through frequency check to feel if this is your journey or not, if it's our journey or not, right? From there, we enter the ceremony with Santa Lucia, the Auroras, and the feminine masculine recalibration, preparing the body, DNA, your awareness for the timeline shift that is already happening. Okay? Beside of the Amethyst Mama Bear Sanctuary, it is the templating of death, and rebirth of the soul, soulful self, whole soul self. But it's also part of the what we are going to move through. It's the feminine wisdom, the high priestess lineages. It's also the money structure, how I am going to guide you through extra material, bonus sessions. I am well known for the bonus sessions because when I feel that I have to offer something bonus, I just offer inside of the containers. And we will go into the first origin priestess that she started to work with the money before the Rome came, into how the priestesses have the currency, and the ley lines, song lines awaken into the purity. Wow, we are going deep. Okay, I become restless because it is a lot, but it's going to be through the refinement. So we're gonna first refine our bodies to really be able to come to the origins of everything. It's like bridging the ancient, bridging the new, bridging the old technology in between with your whole soul self. Okay. Also, of course, we are working with the amethyst ray, the violet ray of transmutation, of alchemy. Okay, this is the ray of the next year. We are also working with the sovereign masculine templating. Okay, she is the one who is birthing him through your rebirth, dear sister and dear brother inside of you, rebirth of your own family. You are birthing him, your king, your whatever. Okay, and what also will be offering here, it's completely new perspective of priestess work, which is the part of going out of the disembodied wisdom teachings, because we have to use magic to feel something, to be more than all of that inner child wounds into full embodied wisdom, feminine innate wisdom that we have the templating inside of us to remember, reawaken, return, and realign to the new earth that we are creating now. And in that will be a huge space will be held by the bee, through the bee dreaming temples, where I will be teaching about the bee temple spaces, dreaming spaces on a new level perspective. And also it is part of the Celtic cycles. We will be working through the amethyst ray DNA clearing. We also will be working to somatic nervous system recovery. That's a huge deal. And Lemurian, Atlantean, Aurora, streams, Avalonian templating in all, and Aryan, all of the templatings that have walked before till this moment of now. These are a huge DNA activation, but before we go into any activation, we will create stability, groundedness, and presence, so we can go through that through completely new awareness teachings. No more splitting, no more trauma work, no more high words, no more God say that. Well, what I don't know what will God say to you, right? God for me say that. I'm creating that. So God, as consciousness stream of my highest attunement of my higher self in this moment, it showing me, teaching me, guiding me to present that. I don't know what will be for you, but I'm so looking forward to meet you, to see you, to witness you, to hear you. What will be present for you, and how this medicine can be shared then for your family, your friends, for your communities, okay? And the breath, the sound, the movement, the frequency, embodiment will be presented from the new current, which is the silence of the body. Even when we go into the breath, we don't go into the bypassing to experience the extreme, to experience any altered states, because altered states, I think we all done that enough. For me, living as autist is all the time living in altered states, honestly. So it's so important to go to this embodied, full body silence present. Yum. So we will work with the numbness shields. We will melt the old shields, ask them what they need, bring them into the whole soul self through the origins of so many systems that are plugging into your sovereignty. I did 4 years ago, I did a Sovereign Womb Grail course, 12 weeks. It was the part of the duality teachings that I did. Now we are creating this from the new timelines, new templating, and whatever you're starting, I just want to tell you that we can meet you wherever you're starting. And there's so much thing on our website, and so much things that it's not on our website that we can meet you through the womb work, hard work, and the mind work. Just do it. Just don't give into the situation of living the way it's not resonating with you. Just find the spark within you that was stolen, and find the devotion, the gentleness, the depths that will dissolve this numbness. If you're willing to go deep, if you want to support, this may become one of the most transformative seasons of your life. And when I was doing the grid work in Paris, through the alchemist consciousness of the alchemists, the Little Prince and the Blue Rose, I was walking around through the protest that was happening at that day when I was there, and looking people at the eyes and praying to God that all could awaken the spark, the remembrance, the fire, the soul self in their own eyes and hearts. It is the fire that has to burn the old bridges of fear, dependency, belief systems of lack, of numbness, of shielding, of everything that is blocking your life force, mana, energy, which is the highest technology that Grail knights are still protecting. I have many beautiful brothers who are the knights of the round table, still holding the templating. One of those is also Robert, whose book will be the next octave, part of this journey that you can tap into the star lores of many technologies like astrology, gene keys, human design, and everything else connected, so you can connect with the stars and then anchor everything into the awareness here, because the stars, the souls, and then is the high priestess that it's been there is in between the stars and the souls as the fullness of her expression. as the rainbow goddess. And yeah, so that will be it for today. I already give you so much information, which are the activation keys. And if this transmission found you, it's because your soul has whispered to you it's time, okay? In the next 2 videos, I will be touching my own death, conscious simulation of the death through the 5th Sufi teachings, chambers and the whale encounters, and merging into one point of creation. It's kind of advanced, so I really needed some time to be able to integrate enough and be willing to talk about it. And also, I'm going to talk about the experience of the Bali in Sri Lanka through the elemental consciousness, the spirits that forgotten how we gave power away, what is happening with that consciousness, and how it's important to elementals to be purified and activated, and how the water still is the most prominent teachings for the feminine as the emotional body flow. Okay? It's the medicine speaking through my heart wisdom, as Sophia is. It is wisdom. It is embodied wisdom. It is things I brought in from all the scrolls and timelines and epochs and Zoharism, Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism. Also, part of the depths of my studying went into Satanism to understand where things go south with the feminine psyche. And I haven't spoke about that publicly, never, because I went into the depth to understand the devil, where things go south. And then I brought everything into the separation and duality and New Age teachings, which from my personal belief systems, and that's not how you need to think, right? It's your sovereignty how to think. I went experiencing everything from that corner of awareness through dualism and polarity. And then I'm here now through these Sophianic templates, embodied wisdom teachings, which are actually not teachings, but experiential living systems, if that's a word, it is now. And I really want to invite you in that, okay? So it's time to enter the depths that you've avoided. The power that you've forgotten is there. The clarity for your next evolution requires you in your fullness, the whole soul self, the origins of your whole soul self. We're entering the cycle where the feminine leads, which means that she is instructing him and he creates in the physical, where the body speaks, where the numbness no longer can hide and be the dominant mastery of your life trajectory. And if your body feels the resonance somehow underlying that is now still present here, then yes, the rememberings and the Amethyst Mama Bear One Cave Sanctuary is calling you. And I just want to say hi and welcome. And the final attunements through another 2 videos before I go in silence for some times and be present only through the community hub, which is autistic and ADHD and any other tax friendly. Well, it's time, okay? They are coming out. You have everything written. You have our email to ask any questions about the financial part, about the exchange part, about the time, everything there is maybe not being said, explored, conveyed. Just ask, okay? And until that, then I want to thank you, my Cherry, which has been doing a beautiful job with me through the whole Tahiti, where also the original codes of the Pele, which is my primordial templating, which is the templating of the feminine that I awakened with after my death experience 12 years ago. I always been attuned, awakened in spiritual disembodied way, but I've never been fully embodied, attuned, awakened like now. And she's been a beautiful ley line, song line, grid worker with me. And she's melting my heart. I am melting my heart with this Antares mastery, which is the part of also the birth canal, which is part of the conscious conception teachings and pre-birth, birth, and that is my jam, which will be coming out in next years to support the humanity. But for now, you are whole, you're complete. There are pockets of you that needs to be seen and bring back to the wholeness. And through the song, through the creation, through the containers, safe containers, and someone like me who is highly attuned into the spheres of anything that put his intention, attention, and time in, this can be much more fine. And I see you, I honor you, and let's meet in another video or through the page or through free meeting. Everything will be linked below. And if I don't see you, whenever this video finds you, it is your attunement time. It is your resonance time. And thank you for co-creating with me. Blessings.